OCO, everyone. To all my subscribers, friends, family, and fellow natives of all kinds, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Now, I understand 2020 has been a rough year for everyone. I'm choosing to make this video to spread more positivity at the growing encouragement of local policy makers to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. We're not going to go into politics. I'm not debating with anyone in favor of Columbus Day. I can explain that another time, so please keep it out of the comments. Now, I have a few questions here that I'll try to breeze through so the video's not too long. Questions predominantly from others about me. Now, my legal name is Isaiah Johnson. I come from a very mixed family with different ethnic groups. Predominantly, I am African and Native American. On both sides of my family, coincidentally enough. Now, for the Native sides, my mother's family is Narragansett, and my father's side is Eastern Band Cherokee. And it's because of the Cherokee lineage that is why I wear a turban. The turban for me, which I can explain all the details in a later video, the reason why I am closer to the turban is because the fact that Cherokees and other southeastern tribes have used them as a welcome addition to what is considered native for the last few centuries now. The turban really spoke to me after seeing artwork of Sequoia and Tachi and Tecumseh and many others. And the turban really spoke to my African side because Africans have been wearing turbans and other head coverings for millennia. For me, the turban was more exotic and spoke to my personality more because it wasn't like a roach or a gustaway or the various feathered headdresses, which, if you're a chief, you have the right to wear that. Everybody else, like me, don't bother acquiring one. Now, the name that a lot of you know me as is Sleeping Turtle. Now, that name, when I was a teenager, was a running gag because at my first powwow, I was up all night the day before. I was really excited. Now, at my first powwow, it was winter time indoors. I had my coat on, and I was still very tired. So during one of the drum songs when I was playing, I zipped my coat up all the way, and one by one, my arm went in, and the hood came over my face, and I fell asleep. It was like a turtle going inside its shell. And over time, there was more of a poetic and medicinal understanding of that name, Sleeping Turtle, and out of the different names people have given me, Sleeping Turtle is my personal favorite. Now, being in the Native community does vary, everywhere in the United States and Canada. Now, New England, I've butted heads with because the way things are done in the New England territory, it's very problematic, which I won't get into, but regardless, I've met a lot of very good people from different tribes, different councils, different clans, and different activists too. Um, and it's helped expose me to a lot of the very good things about being um, an indigenous person to the Americas, regardless of what fraction you are. Now, when it comes to native music, especially the flute, believe it or not, I used to play in a heavy metal band. We were like one of those fantasy driven doom metal bands. It was a lot of fun. I miss the music. And the thing is, it was because of doing music like that that gave me the idea for my psychedelic flute music. Because playing the bass guitar in that doom metal band, I acquired, different amplifiers and effects pedals and other forms of equipment. And 2 years ago, I had the idea what would happen if I plugged my flute into all this. And that first video I did, the psychedelic bass flute video. I mean, that's my most popular video to this day. And really, I mean, from December 2019 all the way through to summer 2020, I was doing quite a bit with the flute. I played at this one Christmas party for the Collective Bookstore in South Kingstown. I'll leave a link in the video. And it was just so much fun doing that because for 2019 I played at the Powwow at La Salette Shrine in Massachusetts both days, and I love doing that. You know, and I really didn't know how much of a blooming effect my flute music would have on other people. I mean, I'm not the only flute player around, but I think it's because the way that I do it is so far out and creative that people often thought that it's not possible that the flute to have all these special effects on it, but it still sounds like a flute. And really looking at other flute players like Scott August, for example, who's my personal favorite, listening to his album New Fire, I thought to myself, what would this sound like with, tons of reverb and echo and modulation and harmonies and all this stuff. And, I really found my own little niche, by just being curious and imaginative like that. But that's what I'm grateful for after learning that I was Native many years ago, because it evoked all this different creativity and passion in me, not just from collecting jewelry or learning the music, but it helped me be a better person from where I was as a teenage boy. So I'm really grateful to my grandfather in particular, who enlightened me that when he saw my original arrowhead necklace, It was just something awoke in him that he wanted to say, I know why you're wearing that. And it's very fine that you are, because your great grandmother, my mother, uh, was native. And I really don't know much about that one side of my family, because back in their day it was not safe to be African or Native American in the United States, and to an extent it's still not, but things are changing, steadily. It's I mean, all began with getting one necklace that New Fire CD, and just being casual about it. Now, obviously, there's much that I could go on, but this video was to shed more light about me and to spread more positivity to my fellow natives, that after almost 1,000 years of colonialism and worse, we're finally being acknowledged for our contributions, not just to the North and South American countries, but to those governments that have continuously used references of our culture in their government seals or on their flags and everything. And a lot of people are awakening to the fact that um, the most American thing is a Native American, and that what people think of as being American now is, completely colonial or something else. And obviously, I'm not dressed traditional, because I'm wearing, polyester shirt with a matching turban. But the fact is, when I wear this garb, it really puts me in a different headspace, that I feel regal, I feel proper, I feel formal. And honestly, I don't think I ever would have had those feelings if I never learned that I was native. So after 8 years now, there is Indigenous Peoples Day. It only reinforces my modest pride in being a mixed blood, regardless of what the colors are. So, to all my fellow natives and other friends and family and allies, thank you for being there, because I know, because of meeting a lot of you, I've grown to better myself in mind, heart, body, and spirit. And that's something that gratitude will always grow and grow with. So, to everyone, thank you for watching. I plan to do a flute video sometime today. And otherwise, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Akwani, Awadu, water is life. And never stop remembering. Know thyself and remember your ancestors. Aho.